Welcome. Thank you so much for joining to this first online yoga offering for GMDC. We'll ask for feedback after, but for now, we're going to take a nice basic flow, and you're going to come to lie down on your back so that your knees are bent and the soles of your feet are on the floor. This is just offering your lower back to really stay connected to the ground. You're going to relax the hands down by the sides, they can face down, and just close the eyes and come to settle in and really arrive into this new yoga space that you are creating for yourself in your home. So with every yoga class, we start with a process of awareness. So moving into an awareness of the body, starting with the physical body. They scan from the head all the way to the toes, just to see how am I feeling today? Checking in with the different muscles, the different joints. Noticing where your attention travels. Noticing if you focus on something, my right hip, my left hip, so something that might feel tense, or something that might feel open and beautiful. But you want to get a full picture of the body and where it is and where it's starting. So becoming aware of what might feel tight, but also thinking or looking at what feels nice and open today. Then turning your attention to the breath. We're just watching how you're breathing in and how you're breathing out. Whether you're breathing in through the nose or the mouth, whether your breath is fast or slow, whether it's deep or shallow. And this is a multiple choice quiz where everything is correct. You just see on the level of the breath where you're starting. Then going a little deeper to look up at the mind, as if you were looking up at clouds in the sky, just to see where your thoughts are at. Are things busy or slow? Somewhere in between. We're not judging whatever way, just seeing where we are here and now. So through the process of yoga, we learn to connect with the physical body, the breath, and the mind, and have these moments of awareness where we check in. And it's called a yoga practice. It's something that we continue to work on, continue to revisit. You're now going to start to come into the yogic breath. So you're breathing in and out through the nose. This yogic breath, breathing in and out through the nostrils, is just a way to filter, warm, and humidify the air that comes into the body. And a more regulated way of breathing. And just try to find a nice even inhale and exhale for you. You're breathing in for about the same amount of time as you're breathing out. Whether you're breathing in and out for a count of 2 each, 4 each, 6 each, doesn't matter. It's what feels right for you and your body. You're going to stay here for 3 more rounds of your inhale and your exhale. At the end of the 3rd exhale, you're going to bring your hands to your lower abdomen, just below the navel center. Just so you're feeling that space below the lungs and seeing what happens here. Observing what happens as you continue to breathe in and out through the nostrils. What do you feel? Do you feel an expansion on the inhale? Contraction on the exhale. Maybe you feel something different, maybe you feel nothing at all. You observe what you feel for you and your body. Ultimately, this practice of yoga is about you connecting with your body, your mind, your breath, and taking these poses, these practices, to whatever distance you want. So staying here for 2 more rounds of inhale and exhale. Before you move the hands slightly higher up to feel the sides of the rib cage, you're keeping that mental connection to the lowest part of the abdomen, and now feeling what happens here at the rib cage as you breathe in and out. The elbows are relaxed on the floor. We're basically beginning to become aware of that connection, that union between the breath and the body. You see sort of the effect of breathing on your physical body. Again, you're checking in here to see if you feel an expansion on the inhale, contraction on the exhale, or if you feel something different, connecting with what you feel in your body. Staying here for 2 more rounds of inhale and exhale with the hands at the ribs. Then moving the hands slightly higher up to feel the top of the chest, just below the collarbones. You're keeping that mental connection to the lowest part of the abdomen, to the rib cage, building the breath up to the top of the chest. Now thinking more of starting down low, inhaling, and building all the way up. And exhale, sort of emptying out from the bottom all the way up again. If that doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry. Let it go. Keep breathing in and out through the nose. Sensation of what you feel at the top of the chest might be a lot more subtle. You might not feel anything at all. Better to be sending the breath down low. But then just connect with what you feel in your body. Staying for 2 more rounds of inhale and exhale. And then bring the hands back down to the sides. The next inhale, you're going to sweep the hands up so fingertips are pointing straight up towards the ceiling, and maybe reaching all the way back if you've got the room. On the exhale, the arms come back down. So really follow your breath. Allow the inhale to come first as you inhale the arms up, maybe overhead, depending on what's going on with your shoulders. And as you exhale, follow the exhale down with the arms. You really want the breath to be guiding the body. And in a way, we're starting to do what they call vinyasa in yoga, or flow, which really I think is just a union of breath and movement. You can almost think of it as you're inhaling the arms up and flowing overhead, and as you exhale, you're deflating the arms back down. Taking 3 more of these rounds for you, following the breath up, maybe over, and back down. Taking as long as you need. I know I'm guiding with a certain rhythm, but if you need to take it slower, take it slower. If you're taking it faster, fine. You're listening to your body. The end of this exhale, drawing the knees in towards the chest. You can either grab behind the shins, behind the thighs, or in front of the shins, and rock a little bit from side to side, massaging the lower back. You might take some little circles at the low back if that feels good, and if you do, take the circles one way, take them the other way as well. Want to keep things nice and balanced in our body. And then, depending on how you feel and what's going on with your spine, we're going to kick the legs back and roll up and down the spine, If that's not available for you, you're just going to roll over to one side, but basically we're all going to come through onto hands and knees. So I'll demonstrate the alternative where you roll over to the side and you come over onto hands and knees. We're coming into tabletop position. So the wrists are underneath the shoulders, the knees are underneath the hips, so you're nice and square, just like a regular table. Coming just to feel nice and square. Here we're going to warm up into the joints. Then your tabletop position, you're going to shift your weight over to the left wrist, over to the right wrist, back to the right knee, and over to the left knee. So we're warming up into the joints, and we're feeling how the body feels. We're checking into each of the wrists, each of the knees. You're keeping the torso parallel to the floor as you move from left wrist to right wrist, back to the right knee, over to the left knee. Also checking in with the shoulders and the hips. This is actually a pregnancy yoga warm-up, but I think it's good for everybody. And I've seen it everywhere, so it's great. It's a very gentle way of getting into the joints and checking to see how they're feeling as you move in and out of them, shift weight in and out of them. If you want to take these circles faster, slower, bigger, smaller, up to you. Again, this is your practice, your body, so you pick the choreography that works for you and what you need to explore and what you're discovering as you move. One more circle this way, and then move it in the other direction. Right wrist to left wrist, left knee to right knee. Again, the torso is parallel to the floor. We're shifting weight from one joint to the other. Wrist to wrist, knee to knee, but also checking into the shoulders and the hips. And again, you are the choreographer of your practice. I'm just giving you guidelines, so if you want to take them bigger, smaller, slower, faster, up to you. You may notice that moving in a different direction makes your body react in a different way. I've got a left hip that clicks in one direction, not the other. Fun. And it might change from day to day. And you know, we're not all ambidextrous, so we might favor one side, so one other side might just react in a different way, and that's perfectly normal. One more circle this way, and come to center, back to tabletop. We're going to move through cat and cow. On cat pose, you're going to arch your spine up towards the ceiling. Buttocks are coming under, shoulder blades apart, looking back towards your knees. It's sort of like an angry Halloween cat. And as you inhale, send the hips back, draw the chest through the arms as you arch the other way. So we're moving between the two, exhaling under, arching the spine up, releasing the neck. Inhale, sending the hips back, chest forward, cow pose. So you're moving into cat on an exhale, if that feels natural, and inhale into cow pose. I say that because sometimes people will take a breath cue the other way, and it'll be so worried, being like, oh my god, I'm doing it wrong. You do what's good for your body. Sometimes people have different patterns of breathing. So here we're just warming up into the spine, taking it, arcing it one way or the other, and just really finding the range and warming up. One last time exhaling under, one last time inhaling through, and come back to table. From here, we're going to extend the right leg back. The toes are going to point straight down, so you have a nice long leg parallel to the floor. You might want to check to see, because a lot of people tend to fly up, especially dancer people. And you can extend the other arm, left arm forward. So opposite arm, opposite leg, palm is facing down. Nice long line from the back heel to the front fingertips, and you're looking straight down. So you're keeping the natural curves of the back of your neck. Really reaching from that back heel to the front fingertips. One more inhale, and exhale, bring it down, change sides. Left leg back, toes pointing down, you're sticking out through that back heel. Reaching the other arm forward, palm facing down, reaching from front heel to front Front heel, back heel to front fingertips. I'm already losing my sense of direction. Really looking down at the mat, keeping the natural curves at the back of the spine. Nice long spine from the tailbone all the way to the tip of the head. Exhale, come down. We're going to work that up a little bit. Take back to the first side, right leg back, left arm forward. If this felt like enough for you, stay here. If you want to take it a bit further, we're going to exhale, elbow to knee, arching the spine up, inhale long. We're going to take 5 of those. Number 2, exhale, inhale, 3, inhaling with control, 4, and 5. Inhaling long, and down. Take the other side. Left leg back, toes pointing down, right arm forward. Option to stay here. Taking it up a notch, exhale, elbow to knee, 1. Inhaling long. Connecting with your breath, exhale, 2. Inhale. 3. 4. And 5. If you need to work at your own pace, do that. Long with the leg in your arm and exhale down. Now, very important position. You're going to come to child's pose. You're going to take your knees as wide as your mat. I'll demonstrate over here. So your knees as wide as your mat. Big toes together behind you. And take the buttocks back towards the heels. Reach the arms forward, forehead down towards the floor. This is meant to be a rest position. Your forehead making contact with the ground. Your elbows can rest down, so you give your shoulders a break. Your forehead down to the floor. If your forehead doesn't reach, totally normal. You can make a fist and put your forehead on top of that, or make 2 fists and rest the forehead on top of that. And don't be worried if the buttocks don't reach the heels. Sometimes they don't. So this is your child's pose, extended child's pose. You're breathing into the back. This is a rest position you can always come back to if it becomes too overwhelming. You want to stay in this practice in child's pose the whole time because that's what you need to ground or whatever reason. This is great. This sort of means you're listening to your body and not necessarily me. Staying for 2 more rounds of inhale and exhale. Looking forward towards your hands. Inhale back to tabletop position. Tuck the toes under, push the hips up and back, and we're going to walk our hands all the way back to our feet. Keep the arms heavy, keep the head heavy, little bend in the knees. So you're a little more connected with the feet into the ground and sway a bit from side to side. Really release the shoulders, release the neck. We are firmly rooted into our feet. That is all we need to think about. The head doesn't need to think. The shoulders don't need to do anything. Let them melt down. Release, release, release. Unwind. And with a little bend in the knees, you're going to slowly roll up the spine. 1 vertebra at a time. Keep the chin in towards the chest. Head is the last thing to come up. And we come up all the way to mountain pose. Rolling the shoulders back. Now your feet here are hip distance apart. If you feel the front of your pelvis, there's some little 2 pointy bones at the front of the pelvis that will act as the hip distance marker. Sometimes people think the outer hips are the hip marker, but it's a little closer in. Little bend in the knees, really connect to the floor. Roll shoulders back, face palms forward. We're coming to a pose called mountain pose or Tadasana. You shift your weight a little bit right and left, and just feel that weight shifting from one foot to the other. So we want to find an equality between the 2 sides of the body, an equilibrium. So find that middle point and come to stillness between the right and left. And then we're going to shift a little bit forward, a little bit back. You're coming into the front of the feet, not too far, and then into the heels, just to feel you're finding that balance between the front and back of the body. And then come into the middle, closing the eyes, shoulders down from the ears. So you've got this little, it's like a mountain is rooted in the ground, you're rooted in your feet, and like a mountain rises up tall into the clouds, you're rising up through the spine. Feeling balanced, front and back, right and left, a nice equal position. One more inhale. One more exhale. We'll move into our sun salutations. Inhale, we're going to sweep the hands up, overhead. You might bring the hands together, you might not. Exhale, bend the knees and fold down. So you're releasing the neck and the head. We're going to inhale to a flat back. So you're going to bring your hands just below your knees. Sometimes people might need them a little higher up. You want your hands on your legs somewhere so you can push the hands into the legs, shoulders down from the ears, and you're getting what looks like, as you can see, a flat back. You want something parallel to the ground. You want to really draw that chest forward, pushing into the hands. Exhale, release it down. We'll do that a couple of times. Inhale, finding your flat back once again. Good to reach out, exhale, release. We're just reviewing some of the basics of yoga movements, yoga practice in this flow. So moving with your breath. One more time, inhale into a flat back, pushing into the legs, drawing the chest forward. Exhale, release. This is really good for your hamstrings as well. You're going to walk yourself forward and down into tabletop position. We'll slowly build up our sun salutation. The right foot's going to come on the inside of the right hand. I'm going to inhale up. So that back knee underneath the hip, front knee over the ankle. Inhale, you're going to bring the hands up. Palms are facing in. You might take them a little wider for space down from the shoulders. Exhale, bring the hands down. Step the right knee back. Change sides with the left foot forward. Inside the left hand. Inhale, rise up. Maybe widening the hands. And then the next exhale, hands come down. Step back to tabletop position. Tuck the toes under. Push the hips up and back. Keep a bend in the knees. And here too, we want a nice long back in our downward facing dog. The little bend in the knees helps the hamstrings and the lower back as you push the bottom of the hips up and back behind you. Nice long diagonal. And walk the hands back towards the feet. And from here, slowly rolling up. Sweeping the hands up overhead. And collecting the hands in. We'll do that again. Inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold down. Inhale, finding your flat back position, pushing into the legs. Exhale, come on down to hands and knees. Back to tabletop. Stepping the right foot on the inside of the right hand. Rooting down to inhale, ground up. Bring the hands up, palms facing in, so you've got that space at the shoulders. Take it super wide if you need to. Exhale, taking the hands down. Step back to table. Switch sides. Left foot forward. Inhale from a grounded place, rising up, palms facing in towards each other. Take them wider if you need to. You can also take them shoulder distance apart. Exhale, hands down. Step back. The table, tuck the toes under, push your hips up and back, bend in the knees, downward facing dog for a moment, and then walk the hands back towards the feet. Rolling up the spine. Sweeping your hands up overhead when you get there to the top, and gather the hands to the center of the chest. Good, we're going to do that one last time before we level it up. Inhale up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold, let go of the head. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, walk it forward, tabletop. Right foot forward, find your grounding, inhale up. Exhale, right back down. Right knee back, left foot forward. Might need an extra step, inhale, come up. Exhale, hands down. So moves a little quicker, we're starting to build heat in sun salutations. Tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Hold for a moment, and walk the hands back towards the feet. Rolling on up. Sweeping the hands up overhead. And gathering them in. Good, we'll build up on that. Inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold down. Starts in much the same way. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we're going to come to downward facing dog. You are welcome to take tabletop if that's what you need. Always an option. Otherwise, we're in downward facing dog, looking forward, stepping the right foot forward. You might need the right hand to help it a little further forward. You're coming to a high lunge. Inhale, rising up so that back leg is nice and straight. The heel is off the floor. Your hips are facing forward. Arms up, palms facing in. Exhale, hands right back to the dirt, ground. Step back, downward facing dog. Other side, taking the left foot forward, maybe a few steps, finding your grounding through that front foot, the front of that back foot, back heel off the ground. Inhale, rise up. Find your space and exhale, come on down. Step back, downward facing dog. Little bend in the knees if you need it. You can also straighten the legs, just feel what's going on in your back and your hamstrings. And walk your hands back towards your feet. We're going to hold our forward fold for a moment, grabbing opposite wrists, forearms or elbows. Take a little sway from side to side. Allow the weight of this clasped grab you've got to really give you a little bit more down, a little bit more length down, a little more release in the neck, the shoulders. And then you can release that and roll up. Sweep the hands up overhead when you get there. And draw the hands in. We'll do it again. Inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, walk it forward, downward facing dog. Stepping the right foot forward. Again, you can bring that back knee down if you need it. Keeping that back heel up. Hips are nice and square towards the front. Inhale, hands up. Keep that front knee over that front ankle. And next exhale, hands down. Step back, downward facing dog. Left foot forward. Back heel stays up. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, come on down. Step back, downward facing dog. Again, walk the hands back towards the feet. Grab opposite wrist, forearm, elbow. Take a little sway from side to side. Little bend in the knees just to release down and feel connected to the ground. Help your hamstrings out, help your lower back out. Come back to center, release the hold, and roll up. Sweep the hands up overhead. And exhale, hands in. One last time. Inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold down. Inhale, flat back. Should maybe feel a bit more energy happening. Step the hands forward, downward facing dog. That's what sun salutations, what we're doing, is all about. Right foot forward. Keep the left heel off the ground. Nice long back leg. A little bend in your knees won't hurt you. If that's what you need in your low back. I think it's what I need in my low back. Exhale, bring the hands down. Step back. Downward facing. Left foot forward. Find your grounding. Keep the bend in that front knee above the front ankle as you rise. High lunge. Exhale, hands down. Step back. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Grab opposite wrist, forearm, elbow. Have a little sway, bend the knees a little bit. Release the head, the neck, the shoulders. You're grounded and rooted through the feet. And come to center, release the hold, roll up. So you can the hands up overhead. And bring the hands in. Good. We're going to come into pose called chair pose. Feet are hip distance apart. Once again. You're going to bend the knees forward and send the hips back and lean forward with the upper body. So you create this little like lightning bolt position. It's the weirdest shaped chair you will ever come into. And you bring the hands up. They can either be forward or they can be high up so that the upper arms are in line with the ears. And we're going to take a dynamic chair. So on an inhale, we're just come right back to stand. And exhale, bend the knees forward, hips back, leaning forward with the upper body coming down. Moving with your breath. Taking a dynamic motion, which is better for your body to ease into things, better for your heart. If you believe it, the heart has to work harder if you have a held position. And moving with your breath. And don't worry if you want to come down on a different breath cue, on an inhale and up on an exhale, whatever. Listen to your body, notice what's happening. It's part of this process of awareness of connecting to the body and what it does. And the next time you come down, you're going to hold it down. Knees forward, hips back. Focusing on bringing the belly button in towards the spine on the exhale. 2 more rounds of inhale and exhale. Inhaling to stand, exhaling, fold down, release. Bend the knees. Have a little willow tree from side to side. Nice and floopy in the shoulders and the neck. And slowly roll up. Sweep the hands up overhead. And collect the hands in. We're going to come into Warrior 2. So your right foot's going to be at the front of your mat, pretty much in the middle. If you bring your left foot behind it, your front heel is going to bisect, come to the middle of your back foot. Your hips are facing towards the left side. And you're taking a big step back with your left leg. Then Warrior 2, you want to bend that front knee so it's above the front ankle. You notice it flopping in. You might need to take your stance a little shorter, but you want to keep that knee above the ankle. Your hips are opening up towards the side, different from our high lunge. And you're going to take the arms out parallel to the floor. Palms are facing down. You've got a nice long back leg. And we're going to take this dynamically to begin with. So you're going to inhale, straighten the front leg, release the arms. Exhale, bend into the front knee, rise the arms up. Again, we're just being gentle to the body again, moving with the breath. It's almost like some sort of weird slow motion bird. And flapping your wings very slowly, getting into your yoga practice, into these traditional poses. Moving with your breath. If you need to take it slower, take it slower. Generally, we don't want to take it faster, but if that's the rhythm of your breath, fine. As long as you're taking nice measured inhales and exhales. And the next time you come down, you're going to hold it down. So you're really thinking about the outer blade of that back foot, so you don't want to be turning in. You really want to be thinking about the base of the little toe, base of the outside of the heel, all 4 corners of that front foot, base of big toe, little toe, either side of the heel, and nice and tall through the spine. You also want to think about the back. You don't want to be sort of booty back. You want to take the tailbone slightly down so you feel a little taller, a little more centered in the middle. If that something you can't quite connect with, don't worry, but something to watch out for. And you're reaching forward, reaching back, you're looking over your front middle finger. Shoulders are down from the ears, they have a tendency to creep up. Let them melt away from the earth. As you find that height through the spine, you find space through the vertebra. One more inhale. Exhale, release the arms down. Parallel the feet one to the other in a wide stance. You're going to bring your hands to your waist. You inhale, you're going to look up towards the ceiling. And exhale, a little bit at the knees if you need it. You're going to bend at the waist and let go of the arms down, let go of the head down. Coming to a wide-legged forward fold. Your hands might not reach the ground. You might be way higher up. But just bring the chin towards the chest and breathe into the back. That's what forward folds are all about, regardless of where you are. Slowly bending the knees and really feeling your connection of your feet into the floor. You're going to roll back to stand. You're still wide-legged. You're nice and vertical in the spine again. You're going to turn your left toes out, so you're facing the other way. Your left toes in the middle of the mat. Again, tracing a line from that front heel to the middle of that back foot. You will probably have to change the foot so you've got that alignment. Bending into the left knee this time. Again, nice and tall in the spine, checking in with your pelvis if you're really sort of pouring out through the front of the pelvis and sort of curving through the lower back. Try to bring it so that the tailbone points straight down. Again, if that doesn't land, don't worry about it. Inhale, arms up, palms parallel to the floor, and again, moving with the breath. Inhale, straighten the front leg, release the arms. Exhale, come back in. So coming back into our slow, lovely movement and connection with the breath, our sort of slow-mo flight in and out of Warrior Two. Moving with the breath, you're better for the circulation. Also getting the body used to some of these poses. You might not have ever done these before. You should come to poses as if you're doing them for the first time. That's the type of awareness and presence I want to inspire in you. Next time you come down, hold it down. Knee above the ankle, not rolling in. Change your spacing if you have to. Arms wide, nice long horizon lines. The bottom, that back arm sometimes droops down. We want to keep them nice and parallel, but shoulders down from the ears, a lot going on. Rooted through the feet, long back leg, reaching forward, reaching back. I swear, yeah, over time, it will all stick, it will all become natural. See if you can release in the shoulders just a little bit more, unwinding down. Inhale, straightening the front leg, release the arms, parallel the feet once again. This time, bring your hands behind you, interlacing the fingers. Keeping that wide stance, you're inhaling up towards the ceiling. If you need to bend in the knees for the hamstrings, do that, folding at the hips. Come forward and allow the hands to come away from your lower back and forward. Bring your shoulder blades together, head is down, release. Maybe straight legs, maybe a little bend in the knees. Getting into the shoulders a bit. Juicy. You're only taking it as far as feels right for you. They might not come far at all. You do a lot of weightlifting, shoulders tend to be bulky. Release the interlace, allow the hands to come down towards the floor, bend the knees, roll up. Heel toe the feet together. And inhale, sweep the hands up. And collect the hands in. Good, we'll take a little flow, just let it out. Inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, bend the knees, flow down. Inhale, flat back. So should feel like, hey, I've got this now. Exhale, walk forward to downward facing dog. Or maybe it doesn't feel like that. It should feel familiar. Stepping the right foot forward, keeping the left heel off the ground. Inhale, rise up to your high lunge. Hips are nice and square, facing forward. Next, exhale, hands down. Step back, downward facing. Left foot forward. Inhale, rising up. Shoulders down. Next, exhale, hands down. Step back, downward facing dog. We're going to hold our downward facing dog, slightly bent knee, and we're going to walk our dog. Basically, that means we're bending one knee a little bit more, extending the other leg, and then switching. So you're pedaling from side to side. Maybe you're looking from side to side. You're wagging your tailbone, walking the dog. You might do this a little quicker, you might do it nice and slow. It's working out the lower back. And this time I'm going to walk the feet forward towards the hands. Trying to keep you guessing, trying to keep some variety in the body. Release the shoulders, release the head. And bend the knees, push into the floor as you roll up. Keep the chin in towards the chest, all the way up. Hands up towards the ceiling. When you get there, and hands down, collecting to the middle of the body, middle of the chest rather. Take a moment here just to close your eyes and check in. Coming back to that awareness exercise we did at the beginning of class. Checking in with the physical body. Maybe you notice different things. Maybe you notice things that are more stretched, or things that are more tight. Seeing where the breath is at, maybe aware of the heartbeat. After some sun salutations and what we've been doing, that tends to be a little bit more elevated. And checking in with the mind as you're looking up into your thoughts. And just seeing where you are now. All these things change every moment of every day. It's not just something you do in yoga, it's something that you become aware of how you're breathing, or how your body feels, or how your mind is reacting in all sorts of different situations. And it's just this practice of yoga that helps us to tune in a bit more easily, sort of click in. And when you're opening the eyes, releasing the hands down, the legs just a little wiggle, a little shake out. I'm going to come into a balance here. I'm coming into tree pose. You're going to take your weight into your right leg, a little bend in the knees, just to really feel that connection to gravity. Now, gravity holds us down, but we also want to feel light enough that there's like a rebound effect. You're going to open the other knee out to the side so you're getting into that hip joint, which is super deep into the pelvis here. You can either bring the heel above the ankle, sole of the foot to the inner calf, just below the knee, you don't want to push into the knee. Or if you've been doing this a while, you can bring the sole of the foot to the inner thigh, a little higher up. But usually the calf is a good place. And hands on the outer hips to start. Little bend in that standing leg will help you really ground. Now find a point to focus on that's not moving. Let that be your point of focus. Make sure you're breathing. Bring that breath back in and out through the nose. You might be super happy just to stay here, hands on the hips. Great. Listen to your body and what you want to do, and where your balance is today, and that can change every day. Bring the hands maybe together at the center of the chest if you've got your balance and your focus and your breath. The balance is still there. You can grow the hands up overhead, palms together. Maybe you can grow the hands out to the sides. Maybe nice wide branches, maybe a little higher up, finding your tree pose. So you're rooting down through the feet, not only to get nice and steady, but also to draw up from gravity, draw up from the ground, getting nice and tall through the center of the body, and reaching up through You're just visualizing the reaching up through the hands, the shoulders are down from the ears, always. Staying for 3 more rounds of inhale and exhale in your tree pose. You fall out, fine, come right back in. So you call it a yoga practice, not a yoga perfect. The end of the 3rd exhale, when it comes for you, slowly bring the hands back together, leg down, have a little jig, and take it to the other side. Left leg, little bend in the knee, really connecting to the ground. Open that other knee out to open through that deep hip joint. Options are the same. Heel above the ankle, soles of the foot to calf, sole of the foot to the inner thigh. Again, to the calf is a great option. Hands to the outer hips to start. Finding your grounding, your rooting on this side. It might feel totally different than the other. No, it is for me. Little bend in the knees. Let's try and find that dialogue with gravity. If you've got your balance, your point of focus, your breath, you know where you're going with the hands. They can come together. You can always try them going up and be like, no way, not happening today. Girl, not on this side. Or you go for gold, you go higher. And out. There's also options for cactus arms if your shoulders are tight. It's sort of like a goal post for American football. You might sway a little bit, test your balance to see the flexibility required in a balance. You see how dynamic a balance can be, how hard that standing leg is working. One more inhale, exhale, hands together, back down, leg down, good. We will flow this out. Inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold down. Release the neck. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, walk it forward, downward facing dog. Step the right foot inside the right hand. Find your grounding. Inhale, rise up to your high lunge, hips facing forward. Exhale, hands down. Step back, downward facing dog. Other side, left foot forward, take your time, find your grounding, inhale, rise up. Keep that bend in the front knee, exhale, take it down. Step back, downward facing dog. And walk the hands back towards the feet. Slowly roll up the spine. Sweeping the hands up overhead. And collecting in. We'll take another flow. Inhale, sweep the hands up. I'll take it from here. Exhale, bring the hands down. And fold down. Roll down. Lost my way for a second there. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, walk it forward. Downward facing dog. We're going to walk into warrior 2. Right foot to the middle of the mat. Spin the left heel down. So you're pointing your toes towards the left. And inhale up into your warrior 2. Bent front knee. Parallel arms. Taking a warrior 2 flow here. Exhale, that back arm comes down, that front arm comes up. Reverse warrior, maybe you're reaching backwards. Inhale to center. Exhale, front hand down. Reaching up and over. Option to take the forearm down in extended side angle. Inhale back to warrior 2. Exhale, back arm down, front arm up. Inhale to center. Exhale, forearm or hand down, reaching up and over. Inhale to the center. So that front knee doesn't move. It's just the upper body that's flowing with the breath. Inhale always brings you back to warrior 2. We'll do that one last time, moving with your breath. You need to follow a different rhythm, follow a different rhythm. You need to take some other variations, take some other variations. Listen to your body. You come back to warrior 2. We are going to release down. Pop that back heel up so you can step back to downward facing dog. And step the left foot forward. Spin the right heel down. You're pointing towards the other side. Inhale, rise up to your warrior 2. Shoulders down from the ears, really grounding down, find your flow. Exhale, reverse warrior. Back arm down, front arm reaching back or straight up. Inhale, center. Exhale, front hand forward, reaching up and over, maybe forearm down to that front thigh. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, reversing the warrior. Inhale to center. Exhale, extended side angle. Feeling through the right side of the body. Inhale to center. Following your breath and your rhythm. This is the second to last time. Doing so well. One last time. Inhale, always to warrior two. One last side angle. Inhale to warrior two. And bring the hands down to frame that front foot. Rise that back heel. Step back, downward facing dog. Take a child's pose. I know we haven't done that in a while. Knees wide, big toes together. Bring the buttocks back towards the heels, forehead down towards the floor. Breathing into the back. Taking a moment to settle down, settle in. One more inhale. One more exhale. From here, we're going to come, sort of coming towards the end of things. I'm going to come and sit down. You extend your legs in front of you. You want your toes to be pointing straight up towards the ceiling. You want your back to be fairly tall. So sometimes if we have our legs long, the back can slump back. So if you know that's happening, bend the knees up so you can really feel into the base of your pelvis. You really feel anchored down so that you can rise up. It's again that idea of gravity, to push down, to rise up. So we're using all these forces. Inhale, bring your hands nice and tall, palms facing in, shoulders down from the ears. Heels are really rooted so you're pointing up through the toes. And bring your hands down either side of your legs, wherever, and start to lean forward from the hips. This is quite tough for guys, so don't feel overwhelmed and be like, oh, I'm not flexible. We start here, trying to keep the spine nice and tall. You're looking at your big toes and beyond, breathing into the back. One more inhale and exhale. Bring the hands a little closer towards you. You're going to extend the left leg long if it isn't already. You're going to bend that right knee up and bring that right knee to the side so you bring the sole of the foot to the inner thigh. You bring your hands to the outside of your hips to push up so the hips are off the ground, and you come back down just for a moment. So you feel, again, the base of your pelvis grounded, rooted. Toes up towards the ceiling. You are active through this front extended leg. You're turning your belly button towards that big toes. It's just a tiny bit of a twist. Inhale, bring the hands up. Again, nice and tall through the spine. Watch the shoulders and bring the hands down either side of the leg. Shine out through the center of your chest towards the love song, towards your big toe. Bending at the hips just as much as is possible. Keeping the spine nice and tall, nice and long, shoulders melted. So it's a slight twist, it's a slight fold forward. A lot going on. It's really good for the abdomen. Last exhale, walk the hands back forward. We've got another side to do. Bring your hand on the outside of that right knee to bring it up. Extend it forward. Bend the left knee up. We're just being good on our knee joints. And take the left knee out to the side. Sole of the foot to the inner thigh. Again, hands outside the hips. Lift up. Come down. Have a wiggle. Really feel that connection of the pelvis down into the floor. And don't worry if your knee is higher up, lower down. You're working with where your body, where your hips are. Rooted down through the heel, toes pointing up. nice and active through that leg. Extend the arms up, palms facing in. Tall through the spine, shoulders down. Belly button towards that big toe, just a little bit. And again, heart towards that big toe. Bring the hands down wherever they come down. It might be super close. And get nice and tall through the spine. Slight forward bend. Breathing into the spine. And a slight tuck in the chin. Just like you have a giant grapefruit underneath your, as you do, underneath your chin. Just to keep the natural curves at the back of the spine. It's a visualization that works for me, whatever. One more inhale. And exhale, walk the hands back in. Left hand outside of the knee, bring it up. Extend it long, give the legs a little shake out. Almost there. You're gonna come to lie back down. But to do that, you're gonna bend your knees first. You're gonna bring your hands behind your thighs. And you're gonna roll down from the lowest part of your vertebra up the back to bring yourself down with control, with awareness, with presence. And so as you come down, your knees are gonna be hip distance apart, your feet are hip distance apart, so the soles of your feet are super connected to the floor. We're doing one last pose called bridge pose. Well, that's a lot, but you'll see. So, connected to the ground, you can really push into your feet. On an inhale, you're pushing into the feet to bring the hips off the floor and up. And you're exhaling, bring them right back down. Make little adjustments if you have to feel really grounded into the feet as you push up. Watch the base of the big toes, they tend to fly up. Exhale down. Knees are hip distance apart, keep them that way. We don't want them flying out. We want to keep the integrity of the hips and the legs. Exhale down. Next time, you can keep that moving up and down if that works for you, or when you come up, you're going to hold it up. A nice little alternative here, or sort of add-on, is with your hands grabbing the outsides of your mat, if you're working with a mat or towel, whatever you're working on. Pull the mat apart to turn the insides of the elbows up towards the ceiling and opening through the shoulders so you can push a little bit more. If none of that makes sense, don't worry, you're in bridge pose. Keeping it whatever works for you. Then exhale, release the shoulder roll, bring the hips down, draw the knees in towards the chest. Grabbing behind the thighs in front of the shins, have a little rock from side to side, maybe a little circle at the lower back, take it both ways. And just taking the counter pose, the opposite movement for the back. If there's any other little movement you want to do, a more intense twist, you want to go upside down, now is your moment. Otherwise, we're going to take it into Shavasana or corpse pose. You're going to extend your legs long. You're going to have a little bit of space between your legs. Your palms going to face up towards the ceiling. Arms by your sides. I'll sort of show you from a better angle here. So the space between the legs, so that your legs can really flop out. Your palms are facing up towards the ceiling. So you've got space at the upper chest. And you're just letting yourself sort of start to unwind and release. This final relaxation is perhaps the most important moment in the yoga practice. You're letting all the physical benefits really settle in on a more unconscious, deeper level. You're sort of letting go and taking a little bit of a moment to release and rest. Scanning the body from the head all the way to the toes. Just seeing what feels a bit more open now at the end of this practice. It's just flown by. Checking in with the breath and just allowing a natural cycle of inhale and exhale to return to your body. Not something that you need to control. You can allow the body to take over and nurture whatever it needs to nurture in your body, in your muscles, your joints, on a deeper level. Then turning your attention up to the mind as if you were looking up at the clouds of the sky just to see what the weather is like. Maybe there's thoughts you need to acknowledge. Maybe you can let things just roll past. And allowing relaxation to blanket the body from the fingertips all the way up the elbows to the shoulders. Allowing it to spread from the shoulders all the way down the front of the body, that middle section of the body, not only the front but also the back, all the way down to the hips. And almost letting it spiral out down all the way the legs, allowing them to unwind and release. Finally letting your head be heavy, softening the muscles around the mouth, the muscles around the eyes, muscles of the forehead. Allowing your whole body to be heavy down towards the floor. Know that your body is supported by the earth beneath you. And so to trust that support. Know that your breath is unconsciously doing what it does best. And let it take over. And know that you have nowhere else to be but here for these final, very important moments of relaxation. Letting yourself drift out. And practicing of releasing a bit more. Knowing too that I will guide you back when the time is right. If you find anything is bubbling up to distract you, try to just let it go. Let it roll away. And let yourself drift back into a luxurious relaxation. Slowly starting to notice what you might be hearing, what you might be feeling. Reintroducing the yogic breath, breathing in and out through the nose. Starting to wake the body up from the inside out. Wiggling the toes to wake up the feet. Wiggling the fingers to wake up the hands. Rolling the head from side to side if that's okay for your neck. And take a full body stretch in whatever direction you have before exhaling, drawing the knees in towards the chest. Giving yourself a squeeze of gratitude for doing the practice, making it to the end. Rededicating yourself to your body. Rolling over onto one side, making a little pillow with the lower arm, the lower hand. Taking one full inhale and exhale. And then using the upper hand and whatever you've got to push up towards a seated position. Whatever is comfortable for you. Resting the hands on the knees, shoulders down from the ears. Re-grounding through the sit bones, getting nice and tall through the spine. Taking one last inhale, sweeping the hands wide out, make a big circle. Joining the hands together, feeling the practice. Bring the hands together to center of the chest. Bowing down with the head towards the fingertips, acknowledging the energy and the focus that you have brought to this practice. Acknowledging the space you have created for yourself for some self-care. Also acknowledging the little community we create, and the energy and focus that we each bring to our practice on the mat and off the mat. Taking one more inhale and exhale. There we go.